Good day, everyone. This time we're going to talk about pop art or the popular art. But before anything else, I want you to observe the pictures that I'm going to show you. Later on, we're going to understand what does or how does these pictures relates to our topics. So now, let us understand first the historical and cultural context of pop art. So pop art emerged in the mid 1950s in the Kingdom and became very popular in the 1960s in the United States. After the World War II, the society experienced economic growth and mass production. Artists reacted to this new world by creating art that reflects to modern life, including everyday life, brands, and celebrities. Instead of focusing on emotion like abstract expressionism, pop art focused on images from popular culture, advertising, and media. Now let us move on to the influence of geography, religion, and community life. So that the cities where pop artists work, like New York, were full of billboards, shops, commercial images, just like the example presented. So this surrounding influenced the art they produced. Pop art was mostly secular. It didn't focus on religion, but it is reflected the community life of the 1960s, especially the fascination with celebrity culture. For example, Andy Warhol painted Marilyn Monroe to show society's obsession with fame and media images.
Good day everyone, I am Referring Muslim and I will be discussing the forms and styles of the pop art. So pop art is strongly connected to commercial and branded imagery. This means that the artists use logos and advertisement, product packaging, and other impersonal images in their artworks. So instead of focusing more on traditional subjects like mythology, religion, or moral lessons, pop artists believe that anything from everyday life could become art. So even a soup can or comic strip. This idea challenged the old belief that the art must always be serious or historical. So another important feature of pop art is it uses more of bold and bright colors, especially the primary colors like red, blue, and yellow. These colors often look similar to comic books or printed advertisements, unlike classical art where colors were used to show the artist's emotions or inner feelings. Pop art colors reflect the loud, energetic, and vibrant world of popular culture. The colors are flat, strong, and eye-catching, just like the media and advertisements. So pop art is also known for its hard-edged compositions. This means that the artworks have clean, sharp outlines, clear shapes, flat surfaces. So this style was very different from movement like Impressionism or abstract expressionism, where brush strokes were loose and emotional. Pop artists wanted their works to look more mechanical or printed, almost like they came from a factory or magazine. Some artists even exaggerated or enlarged ordinary objects, like making a giant cake sculpture to make them look humorous or satirical. So that would be all, and now I will pass the next topic will be presented by Miss Ivy Hipulan.
Now let us proceed to the techniques used in pop art. Many pop artists revealed and used both new imagery and different painting techniques. The techniques were drawn from the commercial worlds of mass media culture. Common techniques include printmaking, silk screening, collage, mixed media, and the use of Band-Aid dots. Now, first, let's talk about printmaking. Printmaking allowed pop artists to replicate and duplicate their artworks. This repetition and mass production was one of the most significant themes within pop art movements, challenging the idea that art should be rare and one of a kind. Andy Warhol used silkscreen technique to produce his print of Elvis, as you can see in the image in the PPT that is Andy Warhol and his print. So basically, silk screening is part of printmaking, wherein it uses mesh screen and stencil to push ink through the paper, fabric, or other materials to form a new art. So say for an instance, kaning image nga naka-flash sa PPT, this is a woodcut, ginaukit ang design sa wood and ginabutangan og ink. Aya dayon ginapress ang tela or paper nga transferan sa kanang art. So now, let's move on to the collage technique. This was one of the first technique used by pop art artists. Although collage on its own is not a painting technique, but it was used in conjunction with other painting techniques on a single canvas. Richard Hamilton was the pioneer of this technique. He used it in his 1956 collage entitled Just What Is It That Makes Today's Home So Different, So Appealing? The exhibition of this collage is widely considered to have marked the official beginning of pop art cultural phenomenon. So now, let's talk about mixed media. Mixed media technique refers to an art where an artist combines two or more different materials. Pop art artists favored the use of blended materials and they didn't limit themselves to traditional printing techniques. Instead, they utilized a wide variety of media. So these are the examples of a collage. So these are the combination of collage and paint, photo and acrylic, textiles and stitching, etc. Lastly is the Bende dots. So arts using dots was created using Bende process, which was created by the illustrator and printer Benjamin Henry Day Jr. in year 1879. So this was primarily used as a commercial art technique for printing comics or photo engravings. Okay, now Miss Reyes will take over and will continue the discussion. Thank you for listening.
Good day everyone. Today I'm going to be discussing about the materials used that the artists use it in making the pop art. First, to the materials that they use is the acrylic paint. So acrylic paint is a water-based paint and it is easily to dry, and if you want to erase food, it is easily erased, you should use lang water. And then the oil paint is a less common to the acrylic paint, because the oil paint is matagal siyang mag-dry compared to acrylic paint, and you use some toxic chemicals if you want to erase it. So that is the oil paint, and that is the difference between the acrylic paint and the oil paint. And then the next one is the silk screen ink. So the silk screen ink is, I know that it's already discussed in a previous slides. And then the next one is the paper and cardboard. So it is materials ni siya sa pop art because more on collage putting pop art. And then the next one is the canvas. So the canvas, it is like base siya, and then support siya sa artworks, especially in paintings. And then the next one dayon is the found materials and commercial materials, because the pop art is nag-a-adapt siya ng mga materials from the commercial, for example, sa advertisement, sa mga logo, sa mga packaging that they use in that product. So ginagawan nila ng materials like those na mga packaging. And then the next one dayon is printmaking. So it is the last one na materials here in pop art. So printmaking tools. So I know that it's already discussed na from previous slides. So, first, they used a bold colors, no? Commonly, yeah, there's a lot bright colors, but majority they use a bold color so that it will be more recognizable. And also, they use a graphic comic-like style, no? to make it more distinctive from other arts, no, because the pop art is producer also in comics books, no, the comics, magazines, books are originated from the pop art. So here, no, they used a lines that it's not ordinary lines siya, but a thick lines, like makapal talaga siya na linya ang ginagamit nila. And when we say comic like style, like the exaggeration of face, no, the expression of face, dapat na kung ano ang gusto nilang i-convey ng message or the feelings and emotions, no, sa kanilang ginawa, dapat in the face pa lamang makikita na, no, at malalaman na kung ano talaga, kung ano ang feelings, emotions, no, na kanilang ginawa, especially in comics, magazines, and books. And then the next one is everyday subjects. So when you say everyday subjects, is that like everyday na ginagamit, no, everyday na nakikita ng mga tao. For example, for that is the advertisements, mga products na ginagamit natin everyday, because pop art is mainly focusly put siya for the advertisements, the packagings that they use in advertisements and commercial, no, they adapt it, they copy it, and they develop it. And then the last one is the repetition of images. So as we can see in the Andy Warhol work, entitled with Marilyn Monroe, diba? The repetition of images. So the reason of it is to have an irony or to mimic the art, no? Diba, as we can see, the repetition of images, yeah, they the same image but different colors, yeah, but yeah, same image siya. And as we observe, no, bold colors talaga siya, because that is the like special signature siya sa pop art, no. Yeah, bold colors talaga ang ginagamit nila sa lahat ng kanilang mga artworks. So that's the visual element that they use to make it more distinctive, no, to make it the pop art more distinctive to other arts. And now that we have already know what are the visual elements that they use to make it more distinctive, now let's proceed to this another question, which is how can we compare the pop art to the other regions and cultures, to each regions and their cultures, no? How can we compare with it? Because each region has a different influences why they formulate or naisipan nilang gumawa or igawa ang pop art. So American pop. So the American pop is mainly focused for the consumer culture, mass production, advertising, and the everyday goods. So easy to say that the American pop is mainly focused talaga siya sa mga products, no, like packaging. The best example of it is our miniature, diba? The Campbell soup cans, no. So naisipan talaga ni Andy Warhol yan ang first, diba, na ginawa or nagawa sa pop art, no. It is lang siya, like common, like isa lang yang namang can, diba, na naging pop art pa. So yeah, because the pop art is not for only aesthetic appeal but also helps our economic grow faster. Next is the British pop. So the British pop is influenced by the mass production and also the popular culture. But because when we say popular culture, it's not mainly focused for the products, but also the advertisements in TVs, like how our culture, how our culture develop more. So the pop culture also focusing the social life, no, of the society. So here the British pop mainly focused to the social lifestyle of the people. So one of the example is the A Bigger Splash, no. So this one is portraying the social lifestyle of the Californian people in the year 1960s, no, by David Hockney. So, and also the David Hockney is, ano na siya, tinatawag niya siya na father of the British pop art. So next is the European pop. So the European pop is mainly focused in personal and conveying or addresses is social issues, no. And also the European pop is more in collage, no, like sa British pop. So yeah, ang British pop is more in collage din siya, and the European pop is more in collage din siya. So as we take up a look in this picture, now this is collage by Richard Hamilton. And Richard Hamilton is, ano siya, tinuturing siya na father of the pop art. And then, this collage is representing the personal desire of every human. Because all of us desire this one, diba? And as we took up a little bit in this picture, no, na merong tao dito, and it represents a muscle, like muscle, because no, some of us, especially men, diba, desire na malaki ang kanilang muscle, diba? It recognize their masculinity, diba? And then at na kanang nabantayan nato nga kanang mass media talagang ginagamit na materials, no? Kasi ang European pop, again, no, ginagamit nila ang mga mass media materials as a materials in pop art. For example, the newspaper, the radio, the televisions, no, and all of us is our personal desire, no, personal desire natin yan. So kaya yan ang ginawa ni Richard Hamilton. So that's all for European pop. And now let's proceed for the last one, the Japanese pop. So the Japanese pop is influenced by their cultural heritage, and it is the bridges of the past and the present, no, in Japanese. No, that's why they formulate the pop art. And then one of the example of this is the work by Takashi Murakami, the flowers in heaven. No, it convey, or the context in this artwork is the happiness, no, joy. Because as we take a look up in this picture, no, the flowers are so, di ba, nag-smile ang mga flowers. So it gives us message of happiness. And also the Japanese pop art is emerged in 20th century. So contemporary pop art na siya. And the contemporary pop art is usually it uses a term as a neo-pop, no, that is contemporary pop art. So yeah, the Japanese pop art emerged in 20th century. So talagang nasa 20th, like na siya, contemporary na talaga siya. So here nag-start, and then they originated the anime, the manga, and because of the anime, the manga, and that they originate and they use it to pop art, no, yeah, mura dira pod na influence na ang comics books, ang mga comics, no, mga comics magazines. Yes. So to easily define and to easily compare this, the pop art in these 4 regions, but not exclusively in these 4 regions lang, because nowadays, no, in modern day, in current gen, pop art are spread jud siya, no, because of the globalization, no, and then because of globalization na dayon ang popular culture, diba, mass media. Because of mass media, the pop culture easily spread jud siya. So but in these 4 na mga regions or mga places is dili lang jud nag-originate ang mga pop art nga karon nga makita nato nowadays nato ang mga bantayan, diba? So to easily understand lang unsa nato yung pag-compare, no, they have individual influences jud. Na-influence sila sa tagsa nila nga mga culture. For the American because the American kanang nag-emerge ang pop art after of the World War II. Diba? Because of that, that's why everyday products ang kanilang ginawa for pop art. The British is this social lifestyle. The European is the personal desire siya, and then siya og mga social issues, and then the Japan or the Japanese pop culture is kuan siya for their cultural heritage, like personal cultural heritage talaga. So that's all for my report.
So now, let's move to the artists and their artwork. So now, in the artist, we have Eduardo Paolozzi. So Eduardo Paolozzi is considered one of the pioneers of British pop art. He was the part of the independent group in Britain, which explored the impact of technology and mass media on society. Paolozzi is also known for using collage techniques, combining magazine ads, comic strips, and commercial images. His style reflects how media images flood everyday life. Unlike American pop art, his works often had a slightly darker tone because Britain was still recovering from World War II. So also, he helped introduce the idea that advertisements and pop culture should be serious subject in art. So now let's proceed to the next artist, which we have Richard Hamilton. So Richard Hamilton is often called the father of pop art. He was one of the first artists to clearly define what pop art is. His style focuses on consumer culture and modern living. He used collage to combine advertisements and household products in one image. Hamilton's works are both playful and critical. He showed he showed how post-war society became fascinated with luxury, technology, and material goods. His art asked viewers to think about whether consumerism truly brings happiness. And now we have James Rosenkist. James Rosenkist was originally a billboard painter, which influenced his artistic style. Because of his background, his paintings are often large in scale, highly detailed, inspired by advertisements. He combined unrelated images such as politicians and consumer products to comment on how advertising shapes public perception. Rosenkist's work connects politics, media, and consumerism, showing how modern society markets everything, even the leaders. And the next one, we have Claes Oldenburg. So, Claes Oldenburg is one of the few major pop art sculptors. He is famous for creating large-scale sculptures of everyday objects, especially food and household items. His style is playful and exaggerated, and sometimes humorous, by enlarging ordinary objects or making fake store displays. He challenges the idea of what art should look like. Oldenburg blurred the boundary between commercial goods and fine art. And now we have Roy Lichtenstein. Roy Lichtenstein became famous for transforming comic book images into large paintings. His style includes bold outlines, flat primary colors, bend-aid dots, small colored dots that used in comic printing, dramatic speech bubbles. He carefully selected and cropped comic images to create a new meaning. His work also challenged traditional ideas of high art by using imagery from popular culture. His art makes us question whether comic art can be considered serious fine art. And now we have the next artist, which is David Hockney. David Hockney is a British artist known for his bright colors and modern subjects, especially the swimming pools and California lifestyles. His style is clean, structured, and colorful. He often explores space, perspective, and movement. Although slightly different from other pop artists, Hackney shares the pop art interest in modern life and popular imagery. His work feels fresh, contemporary, and visually striking. And now we have the last one, which is Andy Warhol. So, Andy Warhol is the most famous pop artist. He focused on images that were instantly recognizable, such as Campbell's soap cans, Marilyn Monroe Coca-Cola bottles. Warhol used screen printing, a mechanical technique that allowed him to repeat images many times. This reflects mass production in modern society. He also believed that art should reflect popular culture, which his work explores themes of consumerism, celebrity, reputation, and commodification. Warhol transformed the art world by providing that everyday products and famous faces could become high art. And now let's move to their artworks. First, we have I Was a Rich Man's Plaything by Eduardo Paolozzi, 1947. This artwork is a collage made from magazine cutouts, including a Coca-Cola ad, a pulp fiction cover, and a military advertisement. Paolozzi combined these popular images to show how mass media influences everyday life. Instead of painting something traditional, he used materials from advertisement and magazines. This reflects how people were surrounded by consumer culture after the World War II. So the artwork also suggests that modern identity and desire are shaped by advertising and media. It is considered one of the earliest foundation of pop art. And now the next artwork is just what is it that makes today homes so different, so appealing. Richard Hamilton, 1956. So this collage shows a modern living room filled with appliances, canned food, television, and a muscular man holding a giant lollipop that says pop. Hamilton created this artwork to both celebrate and criticize consumerism. The image looks glamorous and exciting, but it also questions whether people are becoming too focused on material possessions. The exaggerated objects and advertisements highlights how post-war society became obsessed with comfort, luxury, and consumer goods. And the next one, we have the pastry case I by Claes Oldenburg, 1961 to 62. So this artwork consists of sculpted pastries display like a real bakery items. Oldenburg created fig cakes and sweets using plaster and paint, then arranged them in a glass display case like in a store. The work blurs the line between art and commercial goods by making everyday food into art. Oldenburg humorously questions what makes something valuable. Is it art because it's in a gallery or it is just a product? The exaggerated and messy style also mocks the seriousness of traditional art movements. So the next one we have the Drowning Girl by Roy Lichtenstein, 1963. So this painting looks like a scene from a comic book. It shows a woman crying in the ocean with a speech bubble that expresses dramatic expression or emotion. Liechtenstein copied and modified comic book images, enlarging them and using bold outlines and flat colors. The artwork also challenges the idea of high art by turning a comic panel into a large painting. He forces viewers to reconsider whether comic art can be considered serious art. It also reflects exaggerated emotions often found in popular media. And the next one, we have the A Bigger Splash by David Hockney, 1967. So this painting shows a swimming pool with a dramatic splash, but we don't see the person who jumped. Hackney was interested in capturing a brief moment. The splash only lasts a few seconds in real life, yet he carefully painted it in detail. The background is calm and geometric, while the splash is energetic. This contrast creates tension and visual interest. So the bright colors and smooth surfaces reflect the clean, modern lifestyle associated with California culture. So the last one, we have the Camp Bill's Soup 1. By Andy Warhol, 1968. So this artwork features a simple image of a Campbell's soup can. Warhol chose an everyday grocery item and repeated it in multiple canvases. He later used screen printing to make the images look mass produced. The artwork comments on consumerism and mass production, just as soap cans are produced in factories. Warhol produced art that looked mechanical and repetitive. He wanted to show how modern society turns products and even celebrities into commodities.
Good day, everyone. So we here to tackle the symbolism, the purposes. So we have Golden Marilyn Monroe. The artist of it is Andy Ward from MoMA. MoMA is a museum of the modern art on New York. So here is the symbolism is the massive gold background is a direct reference to Byzantine religious icons by placing a Hollywood star. In this traditional sacred space, Warhol symbolism the way modern society treats like modern day saints or deities. So the purpose for this is to explore the commodification of fame. It suggests that once a person becomes celebrity, they are consumed by the public like any other mass-produced product. Like for example, they use this as a picture of what we call this Golden Marilyn Monroe for their product to enhance, to explore of demands of people. So the next one is just what is that makes today home so different, so appealing. The artist of this is Richard Hamilton from Germany since 1956. So on this, the symbolism, the Tootsie Pop art held by the bodybuilder is the most significant. It is the one of the first time the word pop appeared and in an art context. As you can see, guys, so many things there. As you can see, the bodybuilder, it is the way of modern way of life of new consumers to demand of it. So the purpose is for this to serve a parody and everything lists are in the mass media, advertising, commercial begin to shape the human identity, the way of our way of life. So we proceed the next one. So the next one is a drowning girl. As you can see, the picture is on the comics, rather called I Don't Care, I Rather Sink, and called Brad for Help. The artist for this is Roy Lichtenstein. Actually, this art of a comics is located from MoMA. MoMA is a museum of modern art, New York, since 1963. The symbolism for this thought bubble is a chaotic symbolism of pop art. It reduces complex emotions, expressions, on how they interact with it. So the purpose for this to satirize the eccentric drama of between fine art and commercial comics. To move to another, this is the last one. Kanye West is a celebrity American rapper and songwriter. His education in American Academy of Art College from Chicago State University. He was born on June 8, 1977. Kanye West is a celebrity producer and then a songwriter, and he is using those Louis Vuitton things and clothes for the fashions. Logos have evolved from exclusive markers of the elite into universal symbols. So the purpose for this, the barrier between high-end luxury and low-end popular culture by recontextualizing elite brands within the raw and the aesthetic of street art, and these familiar icons in a new light. An artist intends critique and celebrate the commodification of identity.
So overall, all these artworks have or share the common ideas. They use images from everyday life. They reflect consumer culture and mass media. They also question the difference between high art and popular culture. They also use bold colors, sharp lines, and commercial imagery. Pop art also teaches us that art can be found in ordinary things, even in advertisement, comic books, and soup cans. And that would be all in my part. The next topic will be discussed by my co-reporters. Thank you for listening.
So this is our miniature. So this miniature is inspired by Andy Warhol's famous artwork, which is the Campbell Soup cans, where he turned an ordinary item into fine art. So Warhol showed that everyday commercial products can be a meaningful subjects in art. In this version, we changed the label to exam stress SOP to represent the common students experience nowadays, and the exaggerated praise, which is the now with 100% more panic, in the comic style reflect humor and irony, which are common in pop art. So the bright colors, characteristics of pop art, making ordinary objects visually striking and relatable to modern life. And that will be all. Thank you.